Another person passionate about Tel Aviv and all of Israel is American entertainer Kathie Lee Gifford. She talked with CBN's Efrem Graham about her many visits to the Holy Land, her Christian faith, and her new book called The Rock, the Road, and the Rabbi.
When I closed my eyes and held my very breath and let you love me to death.
I like that.
From the recording studio
That remains to be seen. I'm going to sing it later in the show. But
to the television studio, Kathie Lee Gifford is an all-around entertainer with unmatched passion.
Follow your joy, and it will lead to God's purpose for your life. And I have a mantra, which is, my joy is non-negotiable.
At the same time, the fierce army of the Philistines had been camped at the Valley of Elah for 40 days.
Gifford is a gifted performer who is also passionate about her faith. You can see it in the pages of her latest bestseller, The Rock, the Road, and the Rabbi.
What inspired you to want to tackle this? You've written best-selling books already. What inspired this?
I've been going to Israel, I've been going to the Holy Land since I was 17 years old. I was a big Bible nerd from the time I became a Christian when I was 12 years old. And this was back in the 70s, and it was the first Jerusalem conference on biblical prophecy. And my father, as my graduation gift from high school, got tickets for my mom and me to go to Israel and attend that. And I was thrilled. I mean, I missed my high school graduation. I could have cared less. I could have missed high school. I could have cared less. I always was anxious to get to the Holy Land and be where everything happened and just soak it in.
These are snapshots from one of her trips to the Holy Land with Rabbi Jason Sobel, who helped her to write the book.
In 2012, my husband and I went on our first, what we call a rabbinical trip. And that's when everything changed for me. And when I started really studying the way the Messianic rabbis teach, because the Word of God was written by Middle Easterners for Middle Easterners. And when we try to apply our Western mindset or traditions or thought process or towards that, it never works. We have to go back to who they were and what was happening at the time that it happened. And we have to understand what the languages truly meant. Most people think that Jesus was a carpenter. Well, not according to the Greek in the New Testament. The word for what Jesus and Joseph did was tekton, T-E-K-T-O-N. And that means either builder or it means architect. Well, Jesus was the architect of all of creation, so that would make sense. And if I'm going to base my entire life on something, I have to know what it really means. Many people call themselves Christians. They've never even read the Bible, much less know what it says.
Kathie Lee aims to make the pages of the Bible come to life and encourage people to read it more.
If you know Israel, there's like a 3-mile circumference around the temple. Everything was about worship at the temple. Everything was about the spilling of blood for the atoning of sins in the temple. Those shepherds were Levitical priests, shepherds. And those lambs were born for the same reason that Jesus was in Bethlehem, right there, to be sacrificed for the sins of the people. And what did they do? What did they do to the lambs as soon as they were born? They wrapped them in swaddling clothes and laid them in mangers. This is a kind of journey we go on in The Rock, the Road, and the Rabbi.
It is so.
And I hope it ignites people's faith. We are so lukewarm. In our society today. Our battery is like on critical mass or something. And because we're not understanding what the Word of God really says, therefore we're not applying it properly in our own daily lives. And we're living half of our faith out because we're not living our Jewish part.
And I think you say it really profoundly when you're talking about how it came alive for your husband. Religion versus relationship.
I don't want religion in my life. I don't want religion. I want relationship with the living God.
Is there a favorite place for you to visit since you've been so many times? If you were going and could go to one place, what would you say go?
Oh, that's an impossible question to answer. I adore En-Gedi because so much of our life is in desert. So much of our life does involve suffering. And David suffered so. Think about it, as a young man, probably 12 to 14 years old, He was anointed by Samuel to be king.
Yeah.
When did he actually become king? When he was 30. 30. That's a long time to wait on God.
Yeah.
And half the time to be separated from his loved ones and his family and hiding in caves from King Saul, who wanted to kill him.
Here is also a reminder of God's provision, an oasis in the desert for all who believe. Efrem Graham, CBN News, New York.
Alpha, Omega.